What is going on? It's your boy JeezPlayingAgain. The NA server has been released for a couple of weeks now, so in this video I'll be doing a comparison between the NA server and the Korean and Japanese server. I'll try my best to let you know all of the differences between the two servers and if all of the changes from the past updates in the Korean servers has been transferred over to the NA server. Also, if you have a moment, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. I'll try to bring the best guides and the most updated news on Ragnarok Origin. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's get started. The biggest difference will be the language.
You suck!
All jokes aside, let's start with number 1. One of the first thing I noticed was that Freya's blessing was not implemented in the NA server. For those who don't know, Freya's blessing was a secondary farming method that could be toggled on and off whenever you wanted. You get 60 minutes of Freya's blessing that you can stack up to 420 minutes and use whenever you wanted. This was a way for players to farm for cars or materials for their gears without having to use their battle time. But this was perhaps replaced with the Mark of the Devil event. Mark of the Devil is a solo monster hunting content that you can do to obtain different materials needed for crafting. You also have a chance to obtain different accessories but only one slotted. I can't be 100% sure if they have completely taken it out or it might make a comeback since the farming candy is still in the game's code. The candy also states the name of the event code, which is Monster Annihilation Blessing. If they're not implementing it in the beginning so that they could milk as much money as they possibly could with the card gacha, then that's some scumbag move. But either way, that is the first difference I saw between the two servers. The second difference is the lack of rewards for the daily push. And the NA server, all we get are these basic ass compensations like we don't mean anything to them. At least in the Korean server, we get tons and tons of free catnips or berries along with other great rewards. But man, I took the Korean server rewards for granted. I thought they weren't giving us anything, but NA server don't give us crap. Hopefully things will get better, but if not, I don't know what to tell you. Now the third difference I've seen is the removal of certain weapons. For example, on the Knight at level 70, you were able to get the Cardinal Spear in the Korean server, but in the NA server that has been removed. My guess on this is due to balancing issues, as Knights were very overpowered in the early stages of the game. Whether or not they'll be re-implementing it in later levels is currently unknown. We also have to see later if other certain weapons has been removed due to power imbalance. Whether or not this is a good thing is all a personal opinion. To me, it might have been a good idea, but to others, this is a bad move made by Gravity. Now the last difference I can think of is the contents within the game. Hellheim in the NA server is much easier than what you would go through in the Korean server. You also have solo mode in all of the dailies as well as the Hellheim. This aspect of the game is very good. There are times when you want to do Hellheim but there is no one who wants to join, or you don't have the time to sit there and wait for a party. So adding the solo mode in all of these contents are great. Now this last part is going to cause some stir within the community. The biggest difference I see between the NA server and the Korean and Japanese server is the amount of cash grab items they have. People will bitch and moan about how the Korean server was a pay to win game and that free to play players had nothing for them, but man, seeing the NA server and the drastic price increase alongside some below average limited time pop-up stores, NA server is definitely something else. But even then, I wouldn't consider it to be a complete pay to win game. I still stand by the statement. If a game has a system in place where a player can get drastic power increase by purchasing something through the use of cash and with no other means of getting it, then that game is a pay to win game. But if those exact same items can be obtained through regular farming, good RNG, and just enough patience, then it is not a pay to win game. But here comes my contradicting statement. This game has outfits that gives great stats. They aren't overpowered or anything, but that is the only thing that free to play players do not have access to. They can get lucky with the gacha lottery, but other than that, there's no real way of getting them. There could be other things as well, but I can only remember the outfit, so if anyone knows anything else that free to play players cannot get unless paid for, please let me know in the comments. Now here comes the true final part of the video. Are all of the patches and changes from the Korean server been transferred over to the NA server? The short answer is no. Not everything has been transferred over. The difficulty changes that were made in the Korean server for certain bosses and dungeons was definitely transferred over, but it's too soon to figure out completely if all of the other technical changes are transferred over yet. For example, the Korean server increased the rate of the purple graded card twice within the game's lifespan, but for the NA server it's too soon and not enough data to figure out if the drop rate has been increased. But for the changes that we do know that transferred over are the increased drop rate on the monster dolls and the elementals from monsters. Also, certain content changes were not transferred over yet either, like the card encyclopedia where we can deposit cards to gain bonus stats. And as for job balances, I took a look at the Priest Magnus skill and it seems that the NA server still has a fixed cooldown time of 5 seconds. That means that the job balance patch that was in the Korean server has been properly transferred over. So if you're curious on what type of changes were made for each job, then take a look at my other videos. but there still could be a couple of minor issues that were not changed, so please keep an eye out for those. Also, the last thing I will mention is that new jobs like Monk and Crusader will be implemented in the game at later dates. The game has only been launched in the NA server for a little over 2 weeks now. The first new job didn't come out in the Korean server for about 2 to 3 months after, and it was about the same for the Japanese server. But these jobs will come out, so please be patient. Anyways, I'll end the video here. If I forgot to mention anything, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're curious on what I'm up to on a daily basis or you want to know what I think about, then follow my Twitter. And if you also enjoyed this video, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up. Every little bit helps me in a big way, but I still appreciate everyone for watching, and please stay safe out there. Have a great day everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.